Happy 2025! Welcome to Job's Journal. Today, our topic is everything related to planning and journaling in 2025. Let's get started. So you've probably heard about what Techo Kaigi is. It's actually a Japanese term that just translates to planner meeting or journal meeting, and it's a time to gather with friends or loved ones or anyone who's interested in, notebooks and stationery, and to discuss what you're going to be using for next year or the upcoming year. It can be done alone or with a group of people, and it's just an exercise to, I guess, thoughtfully and mindfully choose what you're going to be using for the next year in terms of planning and journaling. I learned about this term from the Stationery Cafe podcast. So shout out to April, Phyllis, and Kelly for introducing this term. And there's so many Techo Kaigis out there. And this video isn't really meant to sway anyone to one system or not, but I generally like to share what I like to use, and I love watching and listening what other people are using for 2025 and in future years. So this video isn't meant to be educational, but just a little peek into how I plan and journal. So let's get started. I have two main categories: planners and journals. For me, I define planning as looking towards the future and planning events that will happen in the future. So it could be goal setting, setting future events in your planner, all of that jazz. That's planning. And for me, journaling is more focused about the past and reflecting and thinking about how things have happened. So it is more of a reflective process. And for me, journaling is more of a creative outlet for me, whereas planning is more of like a productivity thing. So when I think of planning, I just think of pen and paper, and it's very simple. And when I think of journaling, it's a little bit more elaborate, and there's painting, journaling, art, collage. I'm just thinking of other buzzwords, but yeah, it's just more of a fun, creative journaling aspect to my journaling. But it could be totally opposite for other people. There's people who just journal with pen and paper, but when they plan, they love to bullet journal, and they like to create different spreads and have fun with stickers and washi tape. I'm the opposite. I like to keep my planning very simple with pen and paper, and then I like to be more creative in my journaling. So that's how I kind of make sense of planning and journaling. And then in terms of notebooks and setups, I have my main setup, and then I have something that I like to call supplemental notebooks, or things that I don't really actively use. They might just be in the periphery of my setup. But we'll talk about that later on. So let's talk about our main setup of planners and journals. My main planner is, it's a plotter. This is a plotter A5. I've done a few videos about plotter, but I do want to talk about it more in my channel this year. This is the A5 size, and if you don't know anything about plotter, it's just a ring binder system. It's a leather binder similar to Filofax or Rayme Da Vinci, but plotter's kind of main premise is that it has small 11mm rings, so you only bring the essentials. So I plan in here in a quarterly basis. I only bring enough pages in here that correspond to the first quarter of 2025, and then when the next quarter comes up, that's when I'll switch things around. So in here I have a vision board. This is this year's. I haven't made it yet. Don't tell anyone. I'll make my 2025 vision board. I usually keep it in my planner because I have this open on my desk pretty much all the time. And then I have a monthly setup over here, and then it goes into my weekly setup, and it's pretty straightforward. It is a Monday start for both monthly and weekly spreads, and the weekly spreads are horizontal, but it's not horizontal with a memo page on the right side. It actually just continues the line onto the other side of the spread. So in terms of planning, I only have one planner. I've been doing this for, I think this is my third year in a row of using just one plotter binder as my planner. And that's where I keep all of my Job's Journal, social media, art, all of that jazz here, design. and then my work stuff. So anything that's related to work. So I actually put all of my work related tasks on the left hand side, and then all of my Job's journal, personal, like even just like life stuff, like meeting up with friends and whatnot, that goes on the right hand side of the spread. And if I need more space, I can always use a refill memo pad to supplement the paper in here. That's the nice thing about planning in a ring binder. And then in the back, I have some stickers. I have my work project manager. So Plotter makes these project manager folders, and it's just a nice way to keep all of your notes hidden. It's basically just like a folder here, and I like to keep one for work. So there's any notes that I frequently check, I keep them in here. Like I keep actually an A4 piece of paper that I punched that just has our branding guidelines for Plotter. Since I do need to consult all of this, like the fonts that we use, the color, the hex codes and whatnot, I keep that in here. And then I have my more like private work notes here. Well, these aren't that private, but some work notes here that I still need for this following year. And then I have my Job's journal notes here. And this one, can I show you? I think I can show you the bottom half. There's just like notes that I need for when I plan Job's journal stuff. So there's like Q1 favorites here from 2024. But the fun thing about this is that I can be super modular in here. And one thing that I actually will be shifting this year, this is kind of a little bit of some journaling and planning meeting together, is that I want to do my media journaling in here because I've been using an A5 notebook all this time, and I think I started in 2022 and it's now 2025 and I'm still not done that notebook. And so I was thinking maybe I can work on some journal pages on my refill memo pad in my plotter, tear it out or take it out of my plotter, and then just archive it in my A5 size notebook, because I try to bring as little as possible when I'm going out in terms of like journaling outside at a cafe or working, and bringing an A5 planner and another notebook for just specifically media journaling is a lot. So I'm going to try and attempt that, but I will keep you posted. That's just a rough plan, but yeah, I am not using an A5 notebook in terms of media journaling this year, but that is my all-in-one planner, my plotter, A5 size. And if you were wondering, I was actually using the personal or Bible size on, I think, the second half of 2024, and I plan to do that again this year. Since I do work for Plotter, I like to switch around and, you know, use fun covers at work and whatnot. And I think at the end of Q2 last year, or at the start of Q3, I moved into a Bible size, and I think I'm going to do the same thing this year. It's fun moving halfway through the year, and it allows me to get to know the Plotter system a little bit more, since I work for Plotter, so it makes sense. And yeah, I'm excited to try this out for, again, Q1, Q2, and then switch into a more compact size for the second half of the year, because I just know myself. I'm going to have fun planning in both sizes, and I'm okay with that. And also it makes sense for work, since I do have to use Plotter. Well, I don't have to use Plotter, but I like to use Plotter in my personal planning. But when I have to make, you know, designs and stuff for work, it's handy to just use this as my planner. So that's, I guess, a little like heads up. I do work for Plotter, so I'm biased because I love it and I use it daily. But obviously this is not a paid ad or anything. I just really enjoy using Plotter. Okay, that's my one planner. And then my one kind of big journal is my, surprise, my traveler's notebook. This is the regular size traveler's notebook in brown, and I thought I would match my planner and my journal. This is like a pretty good match, I feel like. And the traveler's notebook system, just like Plotter, is very modular it uses smaller, thinner notebook inserts that you can easily interchange in your notebook because the traveler's notebook has a center elastic band here that allows you to put one notebook, but if you use, again, more elastic bands, you can fit more notebooks. So in my setup, I I feel like the more that I use traveler's notebook, and now that I work for them as well, I I feel like I have a very minimalist system. Like, I know people love, getting customizations done and having all these different pockets, but I only have these two inserts in here and a pencil board, and this has like an adhesive pocket here that I can just put extra stuff, and I'm pretty happy with just like that simple setup in here. In terms of what's in here, I have a monthly pre-dated insert right here. So that's a very straightforward monthly calendar. Travelers Company makes this pre-dated, but you can have an undated one if you are not planning to be very consistent in terms of your journaling here. Just get the undated, but I like the pre-dated ones because my writing is pretty messy, and so I rather just have the computer like font be there instead of my handwriting. But yeah, I plan on using this as just a monthly recap, and just putting a few words for each day to kind of sum up the day. It could be as simple as like coffee shop work day, or hung out with friends, or dinner with someone. Like, it's just a simple recap or a highlight from the day. I did that in 2024 and I really liked it, and I'm just carrying it forward into 2025. The only reason I am changing my setup a little bit is because I was doing this kind of monthly recap thing too often. I was doing it again in my passport size traveler's notebook in 2024, and it was the same thing, just in two different books. So trying to streamline and be a little bit more deliberate about things. And then the second insert is my daily journal, and I always put air quotes because I don't journal in here daily. I used to, but I can't not call it that anymore. It's more of like a highlights journal, or yeah, if I just want to journal, this is my go-to journal. It's just a regular undated Travelers Company insert. This is the fun TRC USA Golden Coast insert. It's just fun, and it has a fun letterpress cover, and it's exclusive to TRC USA, but the inside is just like cream dot grid, so it's nothing too special. But the way I journal in here is that I kind of just write about any highlights from the day. Like, see, this day, like, I just journaled about soup and I felt inclined to journal, so there's a journal spread about that. But there's days that are a little bit more exciting and interesting, like when I went to the Golden Gate Bridge with the TRC team, the TRC Japan team, and there's a dedicated spread for that. It's just kind of whatever I feel like deserves a journal spread. It could be a core memory, but it could be like a simple, fun observation from the day or the week, and I'll just journal about it. Like, this is when I first watched Wicked, and I made a dedicated journal page about that. It's super fun. I just use like a date stamp to add the date, or sometimes I'll just write it in, or sometimes I'll use like a tearaway calendar sheet or stickers. There's so many ways to date your journal, or undated journals or planners. So there's a plethora of different ways you can do it, but I love using a date stamp for that. And yeah, it's just simple. Like, sometimes there's more a focus on writing or pictures, and sometimes it's just straight up like collage. Like, this is just all Trader Joe's goods. Yeah, and I'm planning on continuing this kind of daily journaling, but I guess it is more like memory journaling. But you never know, maybe since I have less dated items in my Techo Kaigi setup, I might journal in here daily. You never know. But yeah, that's my super simple setup. Again, the more that I work for TRC and Plotter, the more simple my tastes in terms of journaling and planning gets. Like, I just have a simple traveler's notebook, and I love how simple it is. I know people are really into decorating and putting a lot of charms, but lately I've just been favoring the simplistic look of the leather, and yeah, I feel good about it. And then in the same vein, I'm using, okay, surprise, surprise, a passport size traveler's notebook. This was one of my favorites this year. I kept this in my pocket pretty consistently, or in my bag. I try to bring it with me everywhere just because it's nice to have a notebook with you. And again, my next item is also similarly sized. I love small notebooks, and so the passport size was a fun, I don't want to say discovery this year, but like a rediscovery. It's like a new reintroduction to this size. And I've used this cover pretty much all year in 2024. And I think I know I'll buy more passport size covers in the future, but this is just like my favorite cover. This is the 5th anniversary camel star edition. And in here, I'm going to be using just a pre-dated weekly insert from Traveler's Company. Again, they come out with pre-dated inserts each year, and this one is nice and simple. It's just a little rectangular box for each day of the week, and it's a Monday start, and I believe you get a 2-year at a glance at the beginning. In 2024, I had this similar setup, but I had a monthly insert in here as well. But again, I was finding that my monthly recap in my regular size was overlapping with my monthly recap in my passport size. Like, I don't know why I did the same thing in both sizes. I should have probably done gratitude in one, and like, I don't know, maybe logging my reading or media consumption in the other one. But I got too wrapped up in, doing this kind of monthly recap. And so in 2024, I have the same journal, just in different sizes. But in 2025, to eliminate that problem, I realized that I'm just going to do my weekly recap here. As you can tell, there's only 2 dated refills or inserts in my journal setup. It's the monthly in here and the weekly in here. I'm trying to minimize the amount of pre-dated books in my setup because that gave me the most, I don't want to say anxiety, but it got to a point where I felt like I needed to keep up with my journal. And when that happens, it's not fun. It feels like a chore, and journaling should always be fun and reflective and mindful. And at that point, I was just going through the motions of like, trying to keep up. So this is my only dated, refill. And I use this year. I'll grab the one that I was using this year, and it's just pen to paper, super simple. It's just a recap of the day. So in case that I do want to create a more fleshed out journal page, I have my passport size to help inform what I write in my daily journal insert. So I've been loving this. Like, it's super short. Like, I'll read you one, entry. Tuesday. What did we do today, lol? Oh yeah, we went for lunch and did some laundry to wash the duvets before our friend Kat arrives on Friday. It was a nice way to finally clean my comforters and also get Uber Eats. That made no sense, that last sentence, but yeah, it's just like a quick recap. Like, now I know that's what I did on the 24th of September before my friend Kat arrived. So I plan on doing that in my regular passport size notebook. And then I think maybe a few years back, I did this thing where I had an overflow notebook or journal that just had notes and like photos. Sometimes I just print too many photos. It's like my journaling toxic trait. I just print too many photos and I never know what to do with them. So I'm calling this back insert. It's just a blank insert that's passport size. I'm gonna call it my overflow journal. I used to call it my mini moments journal, and I like that too. So it's just a notebook to catch anything. I love journaling in the passport size and making spreads in here, but I couldn't justify doing something more fleshed out like a media journal or a music journal in here. And so I'm just gonna keep it nice and loose. It's just overflow. If the inspiration to create strikes and I want to make something in this size, I'll do it. If I want to doodle in here, I'll do it. There's really no rules, and I like that. And I like that it's undated, because if it was dated, it would just drive me crazy. But yeah, I like that I can toss this in my bag or in my back pocket or in my coat pocket right here, and have a place to jot down my day. But also, like, if I meet someone, or I'm cafe journaling with a friend, or I bump into someone and need to exchange numbers and I need to write their number down. I don't know why in that situation I wouldn't have my phone, but I don't know, we're analog lovers, so I can just jot it down in here. And I have this clear folder that I DIY'd, that I opened up, and I just added leather pockets in here and added a leather pen loop, and that's where I keep my Kaweco sport pen here. So there's always a pen attached to this journal, and I like that it comes as a little set, so I never forget to have a pen on me when I am out and about with my passport size traveler's notebook. And last but not least, the last thing that I have, it's my Plotter Mini 5. So this is Plotter A5. This is Plotter Mini 5. It's the smallest size in terms of our plotter lineup. It's called Mini 5 because there's only 5 rings. It's smaller than like the North American pocket size. So pocket size has 6 rings. Mini 5 is basically if you take that last ring off and make it, a little bit more narrow. And it is truly, what is it called? Like credit card size. So I have 2 card holders in here. And this journal is just I don't even know if it's a journal. It's just like my EDC notebook. Like I keep this on me. These 2 are always on me. If there's one thing that's not going to make it in my system, it might be my TN, but this is always on me. It's like my secondary wallet. I should just consider making it my wallet. But I have a smaller just card case that I have that has all my important cards. But I love having this because I just keep a monthly refill in here. So this is like a pre-dated monthly. It's super tiny. Like I really just use this to reference like dates. I used to plan in here, but that was too hard. So I just use this to reference dates, if you're out and about. Again, we have our phones, but I love analog things, so it makes sense to have this calendar on me. And then I have the rest of it is just blank pages of the 5mm dot grid. But yeah, I have these fun square refills that are Mini 5 size, but they're just a little bit wider, and it's a great way to turn. I mean, you can buy the project managers, but it's a nice way to make a little like folder for your inserts. And yeah, I just have like random notes in here, like these are the postage stamps that I needed to buy before I left for Canada. And yeah, I just use this for like quick notes, on the go notes, shopping lists. I keep my currently inked in here in terms of my fountain pens. It is just like a quick jot down your ideas or notes kind of thing. I capture my ideas in here, and then I can always flesh it out in here. The thing with this size is that it's huge, and I love the Bible size because it is more portable, but this has more room to, you can really flesh out your ideas in here. But I think this is a good like companion to the A5 size because I can, jot notes on the go and then transfer them to my larger planner. So this isn't a planner or a journal, it's just an EDC capture notebook. And I think I have pretty simple accessories in here. I have 2 card holders, the limited edition purple one, and then the normal black gray one. And then I have a pen holder in here that holds the world's smallest pen. This is the Orbit Key micro pen, and it takes Uni Jetstream refills, which is amazing. I love Uni Jetstream. It's my preferred pen, along with the Muji 0.38 pen, and I love that they make an insert for this. Like, it's almost humorous how tiny it is. It's like a practical joke that this is a pen, but it's really well built. It's actually like, I think it's metal construction. I think it is like stainless steel, and it's a twist cap, and it's good enough for like writing on the go. Like, you're not going to write a full A4, A5 page, journaling page with this unless you really wanted to, but it's just nice for on the go notes, and it really doesn't add too much weight or bulk to my plotter. And I love that it's barely there. Like that pen doesn't feel like it's even on there, but it is. And yeah, that's my main kind of setup. It's just 4 notebooks, and it's easy. I can bring all of them if I really wanted to. I don't think I will, but this might seem like a lot for some people. This might seem like very little. I think for me, it's just right. Can I slim down my setup? Yeah, but that's not the point though, because I love this and it's part of my hobby in terms of journaling and planning. So I don't really mind if this number grows or gets smaller. I just want to feel successful and happy with my setup. And if that means throughout the year it'll grow or shrink, I don't mind. I've made peace with that, and I'm happy that I've gone to a point where I'm okay with changes in my setup. In 2024, my setup changed quite a bit, and that could be deemed as a failure or a misstep, but we are multifaceted people and we are capable of changing and growing, and I feel like we should also treat our Techo Kaigi with the same intention, because they are an extension of us in a way. I know that sounds super deep and poetic, but it really is. It is an extension of us, and so it's our Techo Kaigi is able to change and morph with us as well. I guess the last thing I wanted to talk about is that I have an A6 diary. These are my supplemental notebooks. I don't have my diary with me. It's in California, but it's an A6 Sumki notebook, and I hope to finish that. I've had that for like 4 or 5 years. I only write in there when I have heavy emotions, and maybe it's a blessing that it's not too filled out, because my emotions have just been steady. But I think I am gonna finish it this year, and when I finish that, I'm gonna use my 2024 Hobonichi Hon that I did not complete, and I will use the rest of the pages as my diary for this year. I just want to use everything up and not leave anything unused. And then, like I said earlier, my A5 media journal is in a A5 bound notebook, but I'm just gonna journal when the mood strikes. Who knows, like maybe I won't even media journal this year, but if I want to write about my favorite show, which is 911, and I want to talk about the new season or a new episode, I can do it in my A5 plotter, and then when I'm done with it, I can just glue it in or tip it into my A5 notebook. And that's kind of like my way to continue media journaling without having to commit to a full-on new notebook or whatnot, because I have perfectly lovely systems that can handle the modularity of it already, so I might as well just take advantage of it. So I'm thankful that I'm using an A5 plotter because I can just transfer those sheets into my A5 notebook. I could just glue it in or tip it in or paste it in or whatever I want to do. And then, yeah, for my A6 diary, I also want to revisit maybe looking into journaling about my reading and tarot in my diary, just because I'm like, it could fit in my daily journal, but sometimes those two topics, especially my thoughts of when I'm reading something and it kind of has parallels to my life, I feel like it's better suited in my diary. And then again, tarot is very, very like personal, so I'd like to keep that in the diary. But yeah, I think 4 notebooks is pretty doable. Maybe 5 if we wanted to count my diary. But overall, I'm very excited about 2025. It is a year of, I think a lot of travel will be happening for work. And I think that having less dated inserts is going to help me be more successful in completing those notebooks and journals, because I don't have to complete all these different predated pages. And I think that I can choose which notebooks to bring to which location or where I'm traveling. And so I'm excited that this is my setup. I can't believe at some point there were like 5 more books underneath this, but here we are in 2025 with 4 to 5 notebooks. I think that's it. I'd love to know what your Techo Kaigi is like. Do you have a lot of notebooks on there? Did you slim down your selection for 2025? I would love to know, and I'd love to know if we have any similarities. You might be wondering, where are the hobonichis? And right now, I think I'm not going to commit to any hobonichis. I still have the ones that I didn't complete, so I can always change the dates on that if I, get the itch to use a hobonichi. But overall, I'm happy that I have that option to just reuse the old ones. And I don't have to buy any new ones. But you never know. I might buy a new one when the April start, hobonichis come out. I am never gonna, say no to if I want to try a new system, because it's my hobby and I get to enjoy this hobby however I want to. And I hope you feel that same freedom as well. I know people try to talk about planner peace and all of that, but that doesn't exist. There's no such thing as planner peace. It's a constant change and ebb and flow in our lives, and we can be happy with one system and then it could change the next day, and that's fine. We are capable of feeling different emotions and loving and hating our systems from one day to another. I think the only thing that you need to be mindful of is, again, your consumption, and if you really need to add another journal, or do you just need to take a break from social media and retreat and take time for yourself and just do some reflection. But those are my thoughts on planning and journaling in 2025. I'd love to know if you have any interesting thoughts and takes about planner piece. Leave them in the comment section below. And if you made it to the end of this video, leave a notebook or planner emoji. There's so many notebook emojis. My favorite one is the orange one, or the black and white one that looks like a composition notebook. But yeah, leave any notebook or book emoji in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one. Happy New Year. I love you so much. And if you like this content, why don't you check out my Patreon? It's linked down below. There are new printables each month and exclusive videos for the Cracklinks tier, or the middle tier, which is all about digital printables and digital videos that you can watch. And again, there's monthly mail as well for the Sunny Side Up tier. And yeah, I would love it if you could support me over Patreon because it's the best way to support Job's Journal directly. Wow, what an ad read. Okay, with that, I am going to close this video. Thank you so much. I love you. Please take care and bye-bye.